And senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Anthony Ruggiero, joins us now to break it all down. Anthony, the president and Kim Jong Un have been fighting and going at this back and forth with these personal insults. We know the tensions are high. Should we be worried about this?
Well, there's always a danger of miscalculation. And, the North Korean regime has never really, faced this kind of threat from the United States because in the past, North Korea sunk a South Korean freighter naval vessel in 2010 and really faced no consequences for that, even though 40 South Korean sailors were killed in that attack. And so, the North Korean regime has to understand that if they attack the United States or its allies, there'll be a retaliation. And that's the part of the Trump speech that's missing. I mean, everybody's focused on the, total destruction, but there was a clause before that.
Do you think that this name calling, this back and forth, likely means that a diplomatic solution, that window, is closing?
Well, North Korea has violated at least 2 nuclear deals with the United States. In the first one, they developed a secret uranium enrichment program. And in the second one, they built a nuclear reactor in Syria that if it wasn't destroyed by Israel, would be under the control of ISIS right now. So, we have to be clear-eyed about what this regime is looking for. They want a nuclear weapon, not for a suicide attack against the United States, but to decouple us from South Korea and Japan and reunify the entire Korean Peninsula. They're closer to that goal right now, and that's why strong sanctions are the way to, at a minimum, force them to make some decisions about where they spend their revenue.
North Korea released a statement after President Trump's UN speech. Can you just sort of walk us through this statement? It was released by Kim Jong Un himself. We don't hear statements from him that often. What do you make of what he said?
Right. It was a significant event. I mean, usually he'll put out a statement. It might be in his name, but it'll be through the KCNA, the country's media outlet. But the fact that it was accompanied by a photo suggesting that it was a statement that he himself had made. I think there was a radio broadcast. I assume we'll see a video at some point. But North Korea has certainly is paying attention to what the United States is saying. And it's a dangerous situation. And unfortunately, we're here 10 years of kicking this can down the road has not really worked. And so we have to figure out a way to de-escalate. It's North Korea that really has not opened these channels. South Korea wants to talk to them. They don't open channels at the DMZ. They haven't opened the channel permanently in New York that used to allow U.S. and North Korea to talk. All those channels should be open. There's no reason why we cannot talk to North Korea. Negotiations is another level, but finding a way to de-escalate this tension would be the best way forward.
And yet it doesn't seem, Anthony, that the de-escalation is coming anytime soon. We saw a North Korean spokesperson yesterday saying they're considering detonating a hydrogen bomb above the Pacific Ocean. We haven't seen anything above ground detonation-wise since China did so in 1980 in that region. What do you think that means if they actually were to go forward with that?
Well, the Chinese are very concerned about radioactivity, and especially the Chinese citizens. And I wonder if that could be the event that pushes China over to the point of really implementing robust sanctions against North Korea. I mean, I think, certainly there's the chance that there could be a military action by the United States, but I would put out more that time is running out with China. I mean, China's patience is running thin, and doing an atmospheric test after basically the taboo of doing that now, that could really change the dynamic for the worse for North Korea.
We also know that in the last few months, the U.S. has pulled out of Paris. It's threatened to pull out of NAFTA. It's threatened to pull out of the Iran deal as well. Do you think the world gets a sense that they can trust the United States to keep their words on an agreement with North Korea and the pressure on North Korea, and that something will be done?
Right. I mean, we have to be very clear-eyed about this again, that North Korea has no experience implementing a nuclear deal. So if we're looking at this, it's not necessarily the United States that has the broken track record here. The other point on Iran I think we should make is that, Iran has watched the North Korea playbook, right? North Korea is the one that taught them how to negotiate a limited nuclear deal. And at the end of that deal, really, Iran, it's really nothing more than a freeze, right? Because Iran could do advanced centrifuge work throughout the deal by abiding by it, and then they come out the other end with a North Korea that has an advanced weapons programs, both missile and nuclear, that they can just provide to Iran. And that's why there's a danger in both of those situations, and they need to be improved.
Anthony Ruggiero, thank you very much for joining us, Anthony.
Thank you.